Okay, just a couple words as we gather. Are we all in the room? Can we all hear? Because I just have a couple kind of introductory things. Everybody doesn't have to be sitting, you know, not chewing or anything like that. Oh, all right.
Close to your mouth.
So I just wanted to spend a couple moments just letting you know how this is going to flow for the afternoon. This part of our gathering is an opportunity to take stock together of where we are, and also have an opportunity to continue the conversations, the important conversations that were a significant part of our meeting on our annual meeting on the 3rd of March. And I just want to note as I begin that we have regrets from a number of people in our community who aren't able to be here today that would like to have. Sharon Smith, Catherine and Susan, Sherilyn, Doug, Sharon Willen, and Marnie had to run out the door to attend something in Peterborough this afternoon. The sequence that will follow is that there will be a finance team update, which Laura will lead us through. There's a PowerPoint about that, just so we can all be have the latest. A program team update. Andrew will both do some report, evaluation, and of programs so far, and indicate some of what's coming ahead. And then Eric will lead us in opening the floor for further conversations after we have that information. And just in terms of technical aspects, the council decided it would be helpful to have the first part, the financial update and the program update, videoed, so that can be posted for folks who aren't here to get those details. But then with the intention of creating a space for open communication in the conversation component, it was suggested that we just do an audio recording of that part. And the only purpose of the audio would be that then someone, or maybe two people, would just make notes of the kind of important points that were made, highlights or ideas for going forward, that wouldn't be, we thought that there might be more freedom for everyone to participate then, if no one was having to take notes during it, and if also it would just be referenced later for highlights. So if everybody's good with that flow of things, that's how we see the next little while proceeding, and it won't be all afternoon by any means. We hope to have a chance to come together on these topics, and then be on our way by about 2. So we start with any questions on that before we get underway with the finance team update?
There's a fresh carafe of coffee that's going to be arriving, just for you.
In case anyone didn't hear that, it's important that in the broadcast, there's a fresh carafe of coffee coming. Thank you. So.
Okay, so we have a little PowerPoint for you. And any questions, just ask me. If I don't know the answer, I'll make it up. The first one is a breakdown from January to the end of May of the giving units, we call them. There's 43 giving units, and where they all fall and how much that they've donated to the end of May. And our blog users, does that bottom part show up? No, that's next.
No, it did on the screen, but it says 2 of the above givers are regular blog users who to date have donated $7,500 and pledged a further $3,500 for a total in 2019 of $11,000.
So that's pretty good. And those are part of the 43, correct?
Yes, 2
Yes.
of the 43
2
are.
of the 43. Okay. So next slide. Okay, this is our financial report to the end of April. This is also in your bulletin. And the bulletin also has the May offerings at the bottom, which the May report has not been done yet. So if you actually look at the regular Sunday offerings, we're pretty much right on budget, which is excellent, because last year we weren't. Solar panel income is actually, it looks like it's not on budget, it really is on budget. We usually get about $9,000 every year. We just divide it by 12, and in the winter the sun doesn't shine much. We did rent the church a few times for $320. We've got our daycare rental. We have the Beyond Welcome program grant, which is good. Outreach ministry, we've got $1,650. We ended last year, of course, with our deficit, $3,561.46. And with our expenses to date of $58,000, which is almost on budget, we're now at a deficit of $4,428. Yeah.
So the outreach ministry, is that the blog?
No, that was the pastor's retreat.
That's the what?
The pastor's retreat.
Oh.
Do we know how much the fundraising concert was due to? It's in there, you'll get there.
Oh, it is in there? Okay.
It's in there, yeah.
Yeah, this is only to the end of April, and the concert was in May.
Yeah.
I have only done the reports till the end of April. And actually, under where it says 2019 budget, net loss April 212, that's not a loss, that's what we gave to Ping Gang. Yeah. You're not the only one that can't say it, Carol. Okay, so, I mean, we're up a little bit from our deficit of 3,500, but it's not a huge amount. And it's all covered by our $20,000 bridge loan. Next one. These are the main offerings to the general fund, and they're pretty good. They're up higher than what we had budgeted for. We actually got quite a bit. So hopefully our expenses for May won't be too much, and we'll get rid of our deficit.
So Canada Helps, that's the blog offering?
No.
People can donate through Canada Helps, and this is done especially if people have shares, stocks that they want to sell and donate to us. So the money from Canada Helps does go in our general fund. It's just like an offering, but we just got this check quite recently.
If anybody has stocks, the way it works is that usually if you make profit on stocks and you go to sell it, you pay tax. But if you donate the stocks, all the profit is untaxed. So it increases the amount you're able to give.
Can you say more about Canada Helps, like who?
Canada Helps is an umbrella that started and offers a way to give to charities without finding every charity. They about, I think, 400 or 500 charities are listed, and Holy Cross is one of them. And so people can just go online and click, and you've donated the money.
And they also have a mechanism to allow donating and receiving that happens through there. It's just a handy way, and it has been a handy way for some to donate stocks as well. So that's why it comes up there, because it doesn't go through the offering thing. It comes in that way.
And you can donate through them with different ways. For example, we have one, I think it's a blog user who donates, well, she donates $25 regularly every month. Canada Helps does take off a small charge, but we then get $24.13 every single month that way. Okay, next. Excellent news.
Did we have a cheer?
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah. Our snow plowing and salting expenses this past winter were very, very high, much higher than twice as high as what we expected them to be. And our property team talked with the daycare, who agreed to pay half of the cost. So that's excellent. So I just got the check today.
It was just a matter of reframing it for them, saying, look, we were challenged, and if it weren't for the daycare, we wouldn't be shoveling the snow. We would only be doing it for our own use on weekends. It cost pittance. But doing it for you every time is costing us almost $6,000. And so can we share? And so they said, okay. I said, if you do 5 days and we do 2, and then they said, how about 50-50? And so I said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Did we ever get any money back from the company when they still charged and they were doing it?
There was no way to prove any of it. And so, yeah.
Unfortunately, that wasn't a conversation they were opening to have, and they tried quite hard to have that. We'd also like some other thanks in here. Thanks for all those warnings that
Neil came
that
to
we
make it
came
safe.
and covered for the things that weren't happening.
And they said they were doing, and anyway, we will not deal with that company anymore, but the daycare is part of the Upper Canada Daycare Group, and they have suggested these 3 or 4, I think it's 4 different companies they work with. And so if we get quotes, they will enter into a similar arrangement for next year, but with a company that they know they're happy with.
So we don't have to deal with the folks that we're in. Amen. Hallelujah.
Okay. Okay, the accessibility fund. This is actually looking better than it had at this time last year. Last year, Sharon and I thought, even up until about September, we were not going to get enough money to pay the loan repayment of $12,500. And fortunately, right at the very end of December, we got it. And we actually got a little bit extra. So we had $1,425 left over from last year. And so far, we've got $56.80 in donations, again, much higher than this time last year. So we need
$53.95.
$53.95 to come up with the $12,500.
The red shows
Yeah,
up.
then it's not so bad. It's not just me then.
No, it's not.
It's a Microsoft thing.
It's a thing.
It's a grant for Microsoft.
Okay, so these are our accessibility loans. When they were originally made, they were $75,000. In 2017 and 2018, we made our payments of $12,500. So we now owe $50,000 in the accessibility loans. And if we continue with paying $12,500 each year, at the end of 2022, they'll be paid off. We took out a bridge loan, $20,000 in December. We're lucky that we don't actually have to make the first repayment until June of next year, which time we'll owe $5,000 plus 3% interest. Overall, that loan will be paid off June 1st, 2023, because we have to make 4 payments of $5,000, plus we have to pay 3% on the unpaid principal. And this building is security for that loan. And this loan, of course, has covered our deficit from last year and our current deficit.
Did we take the full loan, or did we only take the deficit out from the loan?
We got the full loan, $20,000 in December.
Okay,
It's in our bank account, and as we need it, it's being used.
It allows her to sleep.
Yes. I don't have to worry if an unexpected expense comes in, there's money in the bank to cover it. But technically, I guess we've only used $4,428 of it, because that's where our deficit is today. Or I should say, our deficit is as of the end of April.
So it's gone pretty much now.
Yeah. Okay. Is that our last one?
No, it's
No, one more.
It's 2 more actually.
Oh, 2 more? Okay. This is a comparison of this year with last year, and you can see that offerings are way up over this time last year, which is really good. So that's why our deficit is only $4,400. This is why I was ripping out my hair last year. Our deficit was $15,000, and I didn't know how we were going to pay the bills. But we got over that. So the general fund is moving in the right direction. And the last one, I guess?
Nope, that is the last
Oh,
one.
that is the last. Is there any questions about one?
Because we don't have figures all reconciled, et cetera, for May, and the fundraising concert was in May, I believe that what I heard was it was approximately $1,500.
Sharon is not in town, so we couldn't check that. It will be in excess of $1,000. That's all we can say.
Yeah.
Good. But we have to take expenses out of there, so.
Quite marvelous, for which we do thanks.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, I guess Eric is up next.
No, it's.
No.
Andrew.
It's Andrew, sorry.
Thanks, Laura.
So, I'm trying to bring you up to speed on what the program team has been doing. You know, it's me, Ann, Pat, Daphne, Sherilyn, Laura, and Pastor Don, who've been meeting to put together programming that we aspire to find a really good fit for the needs of the community, and also that would attract people from beyond our community to join us. And so we had one interesting the gathering center plastered on the front of our church, which if you come down, what's this, Howard? Hamilton. And it's like in your face. If you go the other way, you have to turn to see it. But a woman came this Thursday? No, last Sunday.
You can, you see,
Oh, sorry. Okay,
privacy,
yeah.
sorry.
Somebody responded as a result of this sign, and I made a clear thing of the reason why they came. So that was really nice to hear. And the next. We decided that all of the different programs we offered, we'd have a pitch where we just gently, unapologetically say we used to just do this all for free. We've realized that we're challenged financially, and we give you an opportunity to support what we do. And so there's a box, and it's optional, obviously, and people have donated. It has ended up being a lot, but I think more importantly, when people give, they emotionally connect more to what it is, rather than they're just taking. So that's that. Beyond Welcome program, we received a grant from the Eastern Synod of $5,000 to try some new things. Our church dedicated $2,000 towards it, and these are three components of it. Broodings, which were happening on an evening over at the Crow's Nest Pub. Morning brew, living the questions, discussion and education here on Thursday mornings. So it's coffee and tea rather than beer. And then movie nights that are coming up, where we're, again, trying to offer stuff that may be of interest. Want to speak to each one here? Okay. This looks at the costs of running these programs so far. So total expenses.
No, that's just the budget.
Well, it's just that's right. That's the budget. Budget $2,150 for the spring, and for the fall $3,900. There were 11 people who came to the Universal Christ weekend, and there were $375 donated for that one. The clergy retreat ended up having a conflict that excluded a lot of people who indicated interest. So it ended up smaller, but quite a rich experience. In some ways because it was intimate. And the facility is fabulous, and people were very enthusiastic. So we'll be looking at where that goes from here. And several of them chose to donate in excess of the fees because of what they learned. I was watching Dawn share with other pastors, and at times their jaws were just hanging loose, just realizing the ramifications of what she was sharing with them was like, oh my goodness, like that. It was like the scales falling off, that this is possible. And so they were really very, very enthusiastic. And I wasn't there.
Because I haven't been there yet.
Oh, sorry, that will be very impressive if I were already there. So that's coming up, and Dawn is having the fees come directly to us. Exciting to be in such a radical, I assume they're a radical group.
Well, there's Roman Catholic women in Greece, that's.
That says it all.
Where's that going to happen?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay. So that's pretty exciting.
Oh,
Do you want that or
I
not?
forgot to plug it in.
We could hear it.
I hate plugging it in.
I'll do it.
Here we go.
We see that it's not religion or science, it's religion and science. Both are absolutely essential for the human endeavor. So this notion of ecology as the heart of theology, I call it ecotheism. It's not about believing in anything. Half of religion is gagged and tied in the trunk, and the other half of religion are in the back seat cheering on the psychopathic politicians that are driving us over the cliff. You've got thousands, maybe millions of people that are debating whether or not God exists or whether or not God is real, when the one real God, namely reality, personified or not, we've been living out of right relationship to, and we are now about to experience consequences of biblical proportion. I suggest this is the fundamental distinction of our time. Not liberal or conservative, left or right, communist, capitalist, none of that. The most important distinction is pro-future or anti-future. It's accountability to the future.
So what's really exciting here is if this pushes your buttons, you say, oh my goodness, this looks really interesting. And it gives you the impetus to talk to everyone you know. I know that I don't like being pestered by people I know to come to their things. And so I'm loath to invite them to my things. But I think we need to get over that and figure ways that any people we know that might respond, we give them a chance rather than assuming they'll be offended by us not being more forward. But beyond that, we need to explore more and more ways of getting our story out. I'll get back to that. So the broodings, pub nights we're trying to figure out. The movie nights, we've got some already planned. And when you encounter something that you think could fit a movie, the sharing movie that you've encountered that would be worth doing, then we should do it. Let us know.
What is it you long for?
That you see me as I am.
Open your eyes.
He's asked for you, Mary.
You need to make many sons.
I need to decide.
Decide.
I can't marry a friend. I'm not made for that life.
Then what are you made for?
Who is that?
Rejoice! Jesus of Nazareth is amongst you!
You must be born anew, like children.
You'll be lost. I'm lost here.
Will you join us?
Mary!
Though they judge you,
Mary!
persecute you, you must forgive them.
The world will only change as we change. It is up to us
We want the people to rally, to rise up. That is where it begins.
He spoke of peace.
Why shouldn't she follow him? She will divide our community. You love my son, don't you? Then you must prepare yourself.
For what?
To lose him.
Kingdom can't be built through conflict. It's here within us.
This life is slipping away.
You're here now. You're here with me. The world will only change as we change. I will not be silent.
Definition very well.
Again, this is an opportunity for us. People will be talking about it. It looks like it's going to be pretty high profile when it's released. And it's radical. And it's going to be upsetting people and who knows what else. But that's what we do well. So it'll be interesting. Why don't we get the filmmakers to town to talk about it? Okay. Now, we also have explored doing this. And I'm using our expertise to enrich experiences in the art. We give background talks beforehand, which also include a Christian faith perspective on the sacredness of all human expression. So we had the Mystic Landscapes trip, where a bunch of people ended with 2 groups going down, where we make more of it. And people outside of our congregation have joined some of these. And I thought I had some momentum with this going, so I started talking to people at the seniors' residences in town, and I dropped off this letter. Oh, you can just take a peek at it. And I'll actually just pass those around there. And this is what I was giving out, just to give them an idea. And I only made it to 3 of the residences before I threw my back out, and I was hardly able to walk for about a month. And in fact, one of the trips we were planning got canceled because I wasn't advertising, because I wasn't sure I would be up to going. And so it really drove home the point that it's very dependent on the people running it, and then promotion by the staff in the residences. So if you think of ways that we may be able to penetrate that, they were interested. And so if we offered it, some of the ones I spoke with said, well, yes, we'll let them know. And I even said, we willing, well, you can read if you do. We could have volunteers pick them up and take them back. And it'd be an awesome way for them to just connect socially and to be growing. And these are adults that want to do cultural things and interesting things, whether it's art or museum or science things or food things or interesting outings that could be relationship building, that could also tie into what we want to do here. I think that the attractiveness of events to members of Holy Cross would make it more natural to invite friends who might not think of coming to church. So that these could be a pathway in for developing relationship. Majority of people aren't going to church, and there's a reason they don't, and people of our generation did when they were young for the most part. And so to just have a non-threatening, interesting way to say something else is happening here. So that's my vision of this program, so we thought we'd see if we can continue to develop that. Good questions. With Deanna, one of the most profound things I heard her say is, what people think they want or express that they want isn't what they want. Because she said in business, they used to say, okay, this is what people want, this is what they say they want, and then you'd go for that and you'd find out afterwards that they were wrong. You can't trust what people express. You have to figure out what the truth is in spite of people and what their consciousness is. And she gave example after example. What was one, let's start with you, Dawn.
Volvo doesn't sell cars.
Oh, Volvo doesn't sell cars.
Sorry, what was that?
Volvo does not sell cars. They chose a niche, and nobody would ever say, I'm going to buy a Volvo because it's
Sexy.
because it's sexy. And even then, or people wouldn't say because it's practical and safe. They think, you know, they put this other construct together, but Volvo's chosen this niche, and it speaks to what they actually wanted.
Just safety, reliability. Safety and
Yeah.
Easier one is IKEA does not sell furniture. They don't manufacture furniture. They partially manufacture furniture, but they don't sell that partially manufactured furniture. They sell a vision of what life could be like with their furniture. And then they con you into building their furniture for them.
And then you're more invested in it because you had a part to play and you take pride in what you've done. And people in this room have pieces from many years ago that they still can't get rid of because you put it together. So
the message is there's more going on, and in what we're selling and what people respond to, and so that's further thinking for us to do about.
okay, go ahead.
I'm really impressed with this. Difficulty I have, it feels like a timeshare sales pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are questions we don't, and the reason that question is up there is because I think that we may have been trying to sell the wrong thing. Not that we're doing the wrong thing, but we're trying to sell the wrong thing. And just to let you know that we're working on that.
I have trouble with selling.
Yeah.
I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Offering, maybe that's the thing. What it is that
Just go for it.
we are. I know. I did.
The fact that we're in the situation we're in tells me that we're all awkward in this.
Yeah.
That we're all uncomfortable marketing. It's un-Canadian, it's un-Christian, it's whatever. We don't say we're doing something awesome. We're saying, will you please come? And we have to find a way to make it irresistible. So we need to do some work there. Now, 215 followers.
That's just the various media
Yeah.
platforms.
Yeah. Okay.
Can we go back to who the audience is? Did she talk about that?
That's a question
That
those
we
are the
have-
questions that we walked out of that meeting with.
That we have to figure
So
out.
there's no work.
Invest our time on that. So it's figuring out who the optimal audience is and what are the things that will actually work for them. Instead of assuming that if we just say what works for us, that'll work for them. Probably not. It'll be a different frame of mind to figure out. And that's part of my thinking about these educational things, because there are some people who are up for that.
We need to honor that Eric needs time.
Yes, thank you. We've got some numbers showing the number of people.
That's the Holy Cross website.
So they're aggregates, so some watch there, some watch on the other side. For most of it, these are quite mind-boggling numbers. And it's
And
quite,
that should actually not read holycrosslutheran.ca, that should read pastordon.com. That's just a.
yeah, pastordon.com is the one that's getting this.
Can I just clarify? Laura made reference to somebody from the blog supporting us through Canada Helps.
No, these supporters are the two that I mentioned.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering, does it mean that there have been, out of all these thousands of numbers, there have been two supporters, or there's two supporters tied to those particular numbers?
Yes. Yes.
2 to those numbers.
2 donors to that
Those particular
Yeah.
numbers, but there has been other support in the
Yes,
too. Oh,
yes.
Thank you, that's what I
But
wanted.
we can't,
I know,
yeah.
I know. Just wanted to say that that's not an exclusive
Yeah.
statement.
So they're the smaller donors as well as the big donors. Okay. How many people have seen the Rogers interview? Good. It's worth taking a peek at, just so you know what questions Don was dealing with, and if you want to then invite somebody to check it out. Our bishop told all of the pastors that they should watch it. So that was encouraging. Okay. And we're on to